So I thought I would start by pointing out what I look for when I'm looking at a theme, as well as kind of show what I think are the best features of this theme, as well as what you might need to consider if you think this could be something that fits for you. My first requirement, it isn't even just pretty much an option anymore, and it's that your theme needs to be mobile responsive. I'm not saying that it's vital if your site isn't mobile responsive. I would just say that it's not worth your time right now to install a theme that doesn't have a mobile component to it. FoodiePro, sitting on top of Genesis, both of which have mobile versions. You can actually, on the StudioPress site, check out different versions of the site, what it looks like on possibly a tablet or a phone. But you get the general idea that in our desktop version, you have the full width layout, and then you go to a phone version, and it reformats all of the content that's on here so that you have a menu that's a little bit different, the posts look a little bit different, and it all works together. The second thing I look for is to see if a theme can upload a custom header. Just out of convenience, I'd prefer to stay out of the code and upload my own header if I had something designed or something I created to add for branding my site. FoodiePro does allow this, and it's very easy to use. The third thing I do when evaluating a theme is just looking at the overall style. Is this something close to what I want my site to look like? Because ideally, I have to manually code as little as possible to get it to change and really look the way that I want. On FoodiePro, the first thing that I notice is how simple the navigation is. I think that's really important because you want your users to be able to easily find what they're looking for, and just clean, simple navigation looks really good. From here, you'll see this in a lot of different theme demos, a featured content slider. Although it's kind of cool, there's pretty good evidence that people don't click these posts a lot. So I usually, although it's appreciated that this can be part of the theme, I usually skip past that. I would not consider this a benefit or a con to the theme. It's just something that I don't consider in deciding if it's a good theme or not. Scrolling down here, what I like about this page is that it's all simple. It's a very thoughtful layout, as well as you have your full-size post right on the home page with a read more button. You can do this with most themes. I just kind of like to see how it's styled, how it looks overall. And on FoodiePro, what I see is simple kind of charcoal text on a white background, which always looks great and elegant, and just gets to the point of focusing on your content, particularly on a food blog, which will be your photos and your recipes. Then I'm scrolling down, and I just kind of see that there are different options for thumbnails, which probably means that there's a lot of options we can use for formatting the ways your content will be displayed, as well as what you can do in terms of different archive galleries and recipe galleries and that sort of thing. Down here at the bottom, I do like that there's already intentional space that you could use for a few ad spaces, so that's handy, as well as the links to your social media platforms again, which can be handy if done in a clean and simple way. Looking at our sidebar, what I initially see is that we're able to utilize some social media icons, which is actually a plugin provided by Genesis. A popular post widget could go right here, which is really nice, so automatically your most popular post could be shown in your sidebar, what an advertisement might look like. But I like scrolling down, and I really like seeing when a newsletter subscription form has already been formatted to match your theme. This is a widget you can add within Genesis, and I just like to see that it actually matches your site. So you kind of see the black on gray here, which is going on, the hover over for the black to the white, which of course you could change if you wanted, but I just like that initially this is going to match your site, and because otherwise that stuff can get kind of difficult to change. So the fact that this is already built in is very handy. Lastly, I will mention that there is an email subscription widget here at the top, which looks really slick. It's also built into your site. You don't have to use it, and it would just not show up if you decide to not engage it. But it is a cool option if you want to build your email list and put that call to action at the top of your site. The fourth thing I noticed with FoodiePro, and probably the most important thing, would be the recipe page. The best part about the recipe page is that although this involves a lot of code, you can actually do all of this using widgets within WordPress. So you will set up a recipe page, and then you'll drag over a special widget and then say, on this area, I want you to name it appetizers, and I want you to only display my recipes that are appetizers, and I want you to link to this category saying see more or something like that. So the ability to do all this without getting into the code is a huge benefit, and overall very helpful tool. So for this part of the review, I have installed a test site with Foodie and Genesis already installed on my domain, and it just has the default Hello World post from WordPress. This is what you would see if you installed Foodie right at the beginning. I'm going to give you a whole set of tutorials that will help you really set it up and make it work for you. However, what I really want to display is the customization that is now allowed in FoodiePro and how easy it is for you to change your font or your background color or something like that. In the WordPress customization menu, which we can talk about specifics later, you can see how easy it is to change your background colors or text colors or anything like that. You can actually use a selective menu to, well, I'll just go ahead and save one here, and you can see now that my text color has changed to red. Or if I want to change a link hover color to green, and then I save and publish that. Now when I hover over, I have green over here. So what this means is that you used to have to go in and edit all these things specific to your style sheet. And although that's not entirely difficult if you have something that you want to add, being able to use a menu like this is incredibly handy. There's also a quick customization access to your widget areas. We can talk all about this later, but what that means is that if we're using our primary sidebar, which in my case starts with this search and recent posts and all these other things, that I can quickly edit these and then see what they look like. So if you saw those over here changing, or if I move meta way up to the top, my site looks totally different than it did just a second ago. So the ability to do this again, even without saving your site and then going and checking it is really nice, and it's great for setting up your site and making it look great. The final thing I will note is that the typography is customizable as well without getting in the code. Now, if you want to add on more fonts than what's available within here, you will have to do just a little bit of code, but it's totally possible and very relatively easy. But you can easily change your font without getting in the code if you want. If I want to change it to something like Oswald and then save and publish, as you can see, all of my fonts have now changed. I might even go to something, to serif font here, and then change my title or my heading font to Oswald. And already my site's looking way more customized and set up to display the way I want. I guess what I'm really trying to say is that FoodiePro allows you to change a lot of the visual aspects of your site without touching the code, and as well as seeing live changes as you make them, which can be really handy, especially when you're setting it up, but just to make your site look different and make it really fit the personality and the style that you're trying to display on your site. In conclusion, I do recommend this theme and think it offers a powerful punch for a food blog. If it's somewhat close to what you're looking for to do on your site, I'd strongly recommend this as an option. I've created a series of instructional tutorials to help you set this up and really make it work for you, because I really do think it's a great theme and an excellent fit for many food blogs.